Hey everyone, I want to come back at you from our new office space and do another rendition of our video series. Last week, I challenged you about our 12-week years. I asked you to say, stop planning a year out in your videos and start only taking a look at this next 12 weeks. Have you done that yet? Have you started on your yearly plan yet? Or are you still sitting in your pajamas in your basement? It's really important to get at it. People are listening, this marketplace is coming alive. Are you going to be a part of it? That's always a big question. So today I want to come at you guys with something a little bit different, something that I think that stops most people from actually acting on their plans they created. You see, these plans are amazing if you can create this detailed, step-by-step process, but there's still a vital component that most people forget about, and that's fear. So here's the thing. I heard this saying a long time ago, and it's widely known across the industry, that fear is about false evidence appearing real. And I really challenge that, because here's the thing. I don't think the evidence is false. I think the evidence is actually very real. I think it might be a little bit misguided. But at one point, our fears come from a limiting belief that was put inside of us years and years and years ago. So here's the scoop, is that first and foremost, I truly believe for you that your fears are real. They aren't some hypothetical thing that's out there that you've created. They're as real in your heart as what they ever could be. The biggest question is what are we going to do about them? You see, because here's the thing. People believe that we're supposed to just overcome our fears. And in my opinion, I don't think that's accurate. You see, God created us to have fears. He created us to have them in our life for a reason. They're an emotion. They're a part of our being. And I hate to break it to you, but they're never going away. Fear will be a part of our life no matter where you are, a part of your success journey. It's always going to be there. They're designed to have us stop, take a look around, and assess where we are. What things have we done that have put us where we are that we need to stop doing? What things that we know we should be doing, but we're not doing? That's what God created fears to do. You see, I believe that you're supposed to live in your fears, not allow fear to control the way you live. There's a big, vast difference between the two of them. You see, the more you live in your fears, the more you get comfortable with the concept of what you're doing, and the more you can then live in your truth and your tell of what's going on. I'm reminded, right before Christmas, my son Jet and I, we were at the water park. And if you know anything about the Edmonton Water Park, they have a water slide called the Sky Screamer. And so from the moment we walked in the water park, Jet wanted to go on this one ride. My son's 5 years old, and so he wanted to go on this one water slide. And I looked at him, I said, Bud, I said, if we're going to climb the 10-odd stories or whatever it is when we get up there, I said, you got to make sure you go down. And he's like, yeah, Dad, I can go down. I'm like, are you brave enough? He's like, I'm brave enough. I can do this. So we climbed all the way to the top of the water slide. Right where we're pretty much even with the bungee jumping platforms. And what happens is in Sky Screamers, they put you in this capsule. And in this capsule, then they lock you in there, and the floor drops out from beneath you. So Jet got in there, and the moment he stepped in the capsule, fear took over. And then he immediately stepped back out. So I went around inside of him, I said, how you doing, buddy? He said, Dad, I'm really scared. And I said, do you not want to go down the slide anymore? He said, I really want to go down the slide, but I'm really scared. I said, can you do it in spite of, Bud? And so he said yes. He accepted the challenge. He got back in his capsule, and he stood there for the countdown. I was next to him and the other one. We're both sitting there with our hands crossed like this. I'm looking over right to him, and he's looking at me, and I'm giving him the thumbs up sign. And the moment he counted down to 3, 2, 1, his arms flew out in the air, and he dropped. So right away, milliseconds later, I dropped right behind him. And of course, as a father, I was terrified that my son just had this life-altering, scary thing. So I got up onto the slide at the very bottom. Luckily, it only takes about 2 seconds to drop the 10 stories. And I looked at him, and he was elated with how excited he was. Once he went down it, he knew exactly what to expect. And it wasn't that he wasn't still scared of the slide. He went through the exact same fear every single time he was at the top when we went on it over and over and over again. But he knew what to expect. He knew the rush and the thrill and the exhilaration of the accomplishment afterwards. So the thing with fear is that it's not something to be overcome. It's something to be embraced. It's something that we should be living in our fears, not living life outside of them. It's not something that you can control. They are real. They exist in our own minds and our own head because they come from somewheres. But here's the scoop. I felt some fear as I went and changed my career path in the last 30 days. And so I was talking to one of my mentors, and the guy I go to for advice when I need something. And I said, this is what I believe, this is what I think, this is where I've always been. I've done this in the past. I've tried this idea that I wanted to try. And I said, but every single time I try this idea, I get my ass handed to me. And I remember him pausing for a second. He said, okay, Will, but then did you learn something from it? I was like, every single time, absolutely, I've learned something. And he said, then the reality is that you're only going to get it handed to you again if you keep doing the same things as what you did prior to. So you learn something, you adjust, you change, you do. Because here's the scoop. There are no bad ideas. However, there is bad timing. And there's certain times of our life that a good idea implemented wrongly or implemented at a time that shouldn't be implemented can become a bad idea in that season. So what you do is you stop and you adjust. And you see, as I was feeling the fear going through this process, I was able to stop, adjust, find out the things that I think that I made mistakes in last time, find out the things that I think are going to be successful this time in this season, and go for it. It doesn't mean I stop feeling the fear. I still feel it every single day. However, the more and more and more I explore and jump into this path, the more and more and more easier and the more clear it becomes, and the more my ideas become honed and refined and grinded on a grinding wheel where they become pure wisdom. So I'm going to ask you to do this. Whatever thing you've tried in the past that you're waiting to try again or that just never gone away and you're scared to try and go for it again, I challenge you to stop, take a look around, do what my mentor said. He said, Will, I'm guided more by green lights than red lights. Or sorry, I apologize. He's guided more by red lights than green lights. A little bit backwards there. You see, in our world, we're always waiting for the green light to go forward. And in my path for it is that I challenge you to say, what areas of my life have I seen red lights in? How do I adjust the needle and see the green lights and then go? And he says this to me, is that when he sees all greens, he doesn't walk, he runs. And he runs as fast as he possibly can until he sees another red. At that point, he'll feel the fear, he'll stop, he adjusts, and he continues on. I challenge you to jump back into your ideas again and go for it again. I'll see you again in a couple more days with a new video on execution. Till then, Edmonton. Talk to you soon.